Hi, welcome to my video. So this is all of the books I read in May. This video is coming out a little bit late, but I just haven't had a chance to film it yet. I also do not own all these books. I've been to the library a lot this past month, and so I'll just be showing pictures right here of the books I've read when I'm reviewing each of them, and then yeah, you can kind of get the idea of what they look like, but I don't own all of these books. So let's get started. The first book on this list is Turtles All the Way Down by John Green. This book, the reason I read it was because I was going to the library and pretty much saying, I'll read whatever book catches my eye first in the young adult section, and it was this book. I first of all saw that it was by John Green and was like, okay, I'm feeling a John Green book right now. And then I also thought the title looked interesting. I think it's kind of funny that I can't say the word interesting. Anyways, back to the video. Turtles All the Way Down is about a girl who suffers with OCD and anxiety. A lot of the things in the book, like she said and talked about, were really relatable, so that was cool to get so close to a character so fast. But it's about her trying to find this billionaire, which is the father of one of her friends from elementary school. And her friend are trying to find him for a money prize, but then his son offers them money to stop looking for him, but Ava, the main character, her name is Asa, still wants to find the dad. Mostly, it becomes a different reason that she wants to find him rather than the money. I just found out the other day that they are making a movie of this right now, which is super cool. There's a funny video by John Green where he talks about how he's actually got a cameo in this one, but he had cameos in the other movies, but they got cut out because he was, in his words, a bad actor. So that's funny. I hope he ends up in this one, and I'm excited to see it because it comes out this fall, according to Google. This book was a little bit triggering, and I feel like it could be triggering for a lot of people, but I found the story really great, and I found the message of the book also just wonderful. And I would recommend this to anyone who is okay with crying a little bit during a book, but is looking for a fun story to read. Also, I would like to add that the romance in this book, immaculate, the friendship, fantastic, and yeah, that's my review for that book for this video. Let's move on to the next one. I've decided that I feel too formal doing all my videos over there, and I turned it to formal mode. So I'm gonna be filming the rest of the video right here, because I feel like it's more entertaining to watch me normally talk about a book and gush about a book like I normally would, instead of watch me try to talk about it all professional like. Next on the list of books I read this month, I read three first books of the Selection series by Kiera Cass. So that's the Selection, then the Elite, then the One. And I have mixed feelings about these books because I loved them. I really loved them. But also, I got bullied for the guy that I liked better. I'm Team Aspen, and I might be the only Team Aspen on the entire planet, and I might make a separate video about that, but I told my friend, and she bullied me for it, and said it was a red flag, and then I went online, and literally I cannot find another person who is Team Aspen. Obviously it changed during one of the books. I can make a more in-depth video on this without spoilers. I don't want to spoil it in this video, but the Selection is fun. So basically the Selection is a mix between young adult dystopia and The Bachelor or The Bachelorette. I get the two mixed up. Don't come at me. But yeah, it's like a mix between the two, and it was really good. I really like dystopians, and I thought it was a really interesting story. The main character kind of annoyed me a little bit, especially towards the end. She kind of just started getting on my nerves, even though she was a really good character. She had great intentions and stuff, but she just started to annoy me with her indecisiveness and the way she acts out at things. So it was a little and I can make another video on this, but those were three of the books I read, and I enjoyed reading them. I finished the three in about 3 days, and that was while doing other stuff still, so yeah, but that's all I have to say about those books. Alright, the next book on the list is called The One, and it's by John Mars. I actually have already made a full review video on this, and that's up on my channel, so if you want to watch that, you can go ahead. But this is a thriller, and it's about a new company where you can send in some of your DNA, and they'll find the gene that connects with someone else's. It's your one true match, and so then you can like know who your DNA matches, and basically like everyone who is a DNA match is like all happy with each other. But there's obviously some problems that causes, like people already in relationships who put their DNA in and get a match, or like people who get matched to people they wouldn't think they would. And this book kind of like explores 5 different stories of people where it was like not perfect, like not easy as you think it would be with that. And so I found this book really awesome. It was the first thriller I've ever read, and I highly recommend this book. Yeah, so that's basically my review for that one. If you want the full review, go ahead and check out that video. Next on the list is Legend by Mary Lou. This one was a reread, and I reread it because I am going to be reading the 2nd and 3rd book soon, as soon as I can get them from the library. But I read Legend in like junior high, and so it's been a while since I've read it last, and so I thought, okay, I should reread the first one before I read the other ones. Legend is a book held in the future about this boy named Day and also this girl named June, and it switches back and forth between their perspectives. I don't want to spoil anything, so I'm gonna be careful about how I talk about this, but basically there's a test you have to take, and wherever you land on that test you get like placed in whether or not you'll be kind of wealthy, so kind of in caste systems. And June got a perfect score, so she's at the top. Day got like a really bad score, so he becomes a criminal. And then we find out some things later. There's some great twists. So good. This book is an enemies to lovers story, which sometimes I'm a little iffy about, but I really like how this book does it. Next on the list, we have Rent a Boyfriend by Gloria Chow. I got it from the library for my sister because I thought it looked like Disney Channel-esque type sort of thing, right? I open it up, I read the prologue, and it kind of talks about how, or like the introduction, and it kind of talks about how this is like an Americanized version of something they actually do in China, where they have a company where you can kind of bring a boyfriend home for Christmas or holidays to kind of show your parents, yeah, look, I'm doing well. And so I thought that was a really cool concept for a book, and when I read that I was like, well, I've got to read this. So I gave my sister a few days to read it. She never got to it, so I was like, you know what, I'm gonna read it. And it was so good. Honestly, like, I feel bad that my expectations were a little bit lower, but it looked kind of cheesy and stuff. It was so good. It's basically about this girl who rents a boyfriend from this company. I think it's like Rent for Your Rents. She rents a boyfriend, and he comes over, and they start to kind of like fall in love, and it's really fun. And he basically like helps her get like away from this dude. It's hard to explain, but I highly recommend this book. That's pretty much kind of like the main point of the story. It like gave me a lot of insight, and it was really enjoyable to read. 3 more to go. So the next one is The Siren by Kiera Cass. Yes, I also had 3 of her books earlier in this list. I've read a lot of Kiera Cass this month. The Siren was recommended to me by my friend in like 10th grade, I think, but I've already read it, and I read it back then and I loved it. And I remembered that I loved it, but I didn't like remember everything that happened, so I just reread it this month, and I really enjoyed it. I made my sister read it, and I think she liked it too. And this book is really fun. It's about a girl, well, really fun, and then I go to explain the plot, but it's about a girl who dies, and the ocean gives her a chance to like live again if she spends 100 years in the ocean's service, which basically she has to become a siren and lure people into the water and kill them, basically. But she meets a boy when she's like 70 something years in, and she just has to choose like figure out what to do and how to live with it. So yeah, if it feels like I'm kind of speedrunning these last ones, I'm sorry. I just think I've been working on this video for a long time. I still want to give good reviews though, but yeah, if it feels like I'm kind of rushed, I'm not trying to be, but I might be unconsciously. The second to last book on this list is A Good Girl's Guide to Murder by Holly Jackson. I bought this book, and I actually did a review already on my channel, as well as the other one that I talked about earlier. And you can go check that out if you want to. It's more in depth of a review, but it's still spoiler free. Overall, I would really recommend this book. It was a fun mystery, and you like feel like you're right there with her solving the mystery that of the murder that happened 5 years in the past. And there's so many twists and turns, especially like the last half of the book is just so fast-paced and fantastic. And it's like the first half, it's just because she had to set up the characters and everything, but oh, so good. And then the last book I read this month was The Hunger Games by Suzanne Collins. And this is actually my first time reading this book. I'm way too many years too late. I haven't seen the movies yet. I'm going to watch them soon with my friend. She recommended me to read the series because I was asking her what her favorite book series was. And she told me this one. So I said, well, I need to get around to reading that. I've been procrastinating it way too long. And I ended up really liking it. It's bad that I need to admit that I ended up liking it more than I expected to. I hadn't really seen any of the shows, but because of all the hype, I had kind of put in my mind that I'm like, yeah, I don't really need to see that, but so good. The book, oh, I don't know, I just love the character, and you don't need to hear tons about it because I have a feeling you've already read this book, but if you haven't, I would check it out. Don't keep procrastinating like I did. It's really good. I read this book the last day of May, so it's the last on my list, and I am actually reading the second book right now, so that'll be in my what I read in June that I will post at the beginning of next month. Thanks for watching, guys. Have fun reading.